Yeah, hi, we can hear you.
Cool. Cool. I don't know what was going on there. I couldn't turn my mic on. No idea. Yeah, it's just weird. I still find it baffling that you can't talk on PC. It's really weird.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Especially considering how many people now use it. Sort of interfaces.
Hmm.
Hey guys, we'll just give it a couple of minutes, let some people join. You're struggling to be speaker, I've just seen. Yeah, try. Oh, well.
He's not here.
I had to join, exit, and then rejoin, and that helped.
Oh, he's here. But Yeah, can you say something?
You're live, Jan.
Jesus.
Are you under the water?
Kind of. Oh my god.
I can sort of hear you. Okay. Yeah, we'll give it a couple of minutes. I think Johan's just trying to find some signal. I think he's actually currently in a train. Bulgaria, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, another minute, and I'll make a bit of a start. But it's thing we want to bring up to discuss with you guys, and we'll actually put a poll up afterwards, which is all quite exciting stuff. But it's based on sort of community feedback, and I think it's something that I think putting to the community will be interesting to do. So. But yeah, as I was saying, yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter AMA, which just more of a sort of catch up. Obviously, Tech Alchemy are in between allocating and sorting the developers out. They've moved forward with the Sprint Zero stage and getting everyone clued up as to what they're doing. The developers are now sort of given the bare bones of what they're working with, and they're making a start. And then on the development side, they've actually moved into the sort of Sprint 1, Sprint 2 stage of things, where they're actually a bit ahead of schedule, obviously, because we were held up, with market conditions and various other things out of our. To you guys next week, which I'm looking forward to seeing. We're going to have a meeting with them next week. And then obviously, as I was talking about before, one of the things I wanted to bring up was something that we've spoken about with various people within the community, and that was putting to a poll the idea of either changing the max transaction limitations involved with Kounotori, that involves buying and selling Kounotori. Currently, it's limited at around 2 trillion. Now, obviously, we had that implemented at an early stage for when the project was starting to protect investors, protect the price from, manipulation, something that you see in early coins and early projects. I think now that we're a bit more established, I understand is perhaps we could look at either increasing the limitations or removing them entirely. Now that there's pros and cons, obviously, for both of these. Something we'll probably talk about in this AMA with you guys. But I think it's definitely worth consideration. Take lightly. But what it will do is it will bring a lot of new eyes to the project. It'll bring a lot more attention. I've heard some of the feedback that we've seen is we've had new investors looking at the project, trying to buy a considerable amount and then finding that there's the limitation in place. Now, if you've not looked at the project properly or looked at it with a magnifying glass in the white paper and the website, then perhaps you. So that could be a bit of an off-putting thing to see on a Uniswap, transaction a few times and it doesn't go through. So I totally understand that argument. So as I say, and putting the project forward on the matter, and it's something we'll speak about with you guys, and we're going to open this up for discussion as well on here. But yes, after this, we'll open up to a poll and see what you guys think. We'll put it out on all forms of Telegram and Discord on announcement channels, and get a bit of a poll and see what you guys think. But I think what's worth noting is the fact that we're not in the same market conditions that we were when we launched. As we've talked about many times, is low, not just for us, but for the entire market. So perhaps doing something like might kickstart some of the volume that we need, not necessarily to carry on, but to the marketing funds and the development funds and helping us push forward. So
hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's much better. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I finally got some signal. I just wanted to add into what Martin was saying about the max transaction limitation. Essentially, its main purpose was to protect us at launch and protect us from people using bots to acquire massive amounts of the supply really quickly. And it did that really well. It really did that job beautifully. But at this point, it's kind of sort of redundant, as it has already passed its main use. And as Martin was saying, there are large investors who could possibly be hearing about us. And they see, and they try, for example, to invest 10K. At the moment, that's over the current transaction limit. So it just wouldn't work for them. Maybe they're gonna try a few times and they're not gonna bother further. And those are people who have like massive amounts of money sitting around for investment. So if they're unable to pour it into KTO and increase our volume, they're probably going to go to another token, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about, you know, how we've set the contract up. You know, as we've stated and gone through with you guys in previous AMAs and videos and things, there are limitations to stop us doing anything nefarious, but also it allows us to do things like, which is something we've outlined in the white paper and the website before. So yeah, of course there are pros and cons for it. And the assistance of the community to make the final decision. Obviously, for us, as I said, we have our own opinions, and we have our, you know, we have a sort of trajectory and what we think would be best. But letting you guys have a big deciding factor in the decision is how we've set things up and how we want to conduct the whole project and the whole centralized exchange as a whole going forward. So I think it was important to involve you guys in that decision. So, as I say, we will be putting a poll up sometime after the AMA that will specify the options, but essentially it'll be something like remaining at 2 trillion as a max transaction limit, which we currently is we were talking about a 10 trillion limitation, and then also but obviously this is an AMA, so you guys are free to answer any questions or sorry, ask any questions. Right in Q&A channel, and we'll try and cover that as well. That'd be great. I think that's pretty much all we've got to cover for this week. As I say, it's not quite as extensive as last week's, but we should have a lot more info next week. For those who weren't about early on, I've seen quite a few people have joined, but basically we've spoken to TA. They've progressed with Sprint Zero stage. They've allocated the developers and caught them up to speed of what's going on with ourselves that we're going to hopefully release soon. And then also Christian on their side is quite next week. We should have some nice stuff to show off to you guys that they've put together. But yeah, as far as a little that we're looking at and putting up to a vote for you guys, I think that pretty much covers it.
Hey, Cockbeard, can I ask one question quick? It's free shrugs.
Oh, yeah.
So I may not have caught all of it, but I think great idea to put the poll out there. How long are you going to let that poll run? Like a week, or are we talking just a short time frame?
That's a very good question. We could even put it up to as long as 5 days or to a week sort of thing, because it's obviously not a decision we want to take lightly, and we want to make sure that everyone has their say. But, I think
we can just do it till next AMA. So
that wasn't like a request. It must be this. I'm personally myself. The sooner we can do it, the better. But I know the community decision is let's give them all time. But that's all. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. But thanks for the question and thanks for the point, because that's a very good point. It's something we briefly discussed. But as you say, I think the best part of the week, up to a week, is the time frame that gives the community enough time to add their input into that decision. It's a big decision. If anyone else wants to jump in and ask a question. Oh,
Oh, you see, and he's gone. Martin. I mean, he was talking too much, so I'll keep him out. No,
Yeah, he has a bit of a thing with spaces.
he's back.
So in the meantime, does anybody have any other questions, either relating to the change of the limits or anything else that we've mentioned so far?
yeah, that was totally my fault. I went to open Discord and ended up because I'm on my phone and ended up closing Twitter Spaces. So
Gloves are off, boys. Time to grow. Let's get to it.
absolutely. Looking through Discord.
Oh, we're missing jitters here.
Looks like Panda asked a question in Discord.
Yeah, okay.
He says, I'm sure most of us have heard that Yorkie and such. What types of security measures will be provided on KTO's exchange that would give investors peace of mind in keeping their...
Yeah, in terms of security, that's something that we're going to heavily outline in the upcoming centralized exchange paper. It's something that Tech Alchemy have obviously had a whole host of experience with in dealing with previous. It's something that they've specified to us in their proposal paper as well. I think what we can do is reach out to them and get a list of everything that they're looking to implement. But as I say, this is all in the proposal and all. And that is going to involve all the sort of intricate details, investments, and protecting your guys' money that's on the exchange as well. Let me just have a look.
That appears to be all of them.
I haven't got Telegram open. But I mean, yeah, this AMA was more or less just a bit of a catch up and a bit of a discussion. And like I say,
Yeah.
the main thing was to put to you guys that decision of increasing the max transaction. I think, as I said, there are pros and cons. There are things that the white paper why we implemented these limitations, and as Jan was saying, you know, it worked well during given the change in market conditions. We need to look at other tactics, other measures that we can take, and thankfully, you know, with the contract that we have in place, we are able to make these changes. But yeah, the main feedback we can take from today from you guys is your input on those changes, and obviously see you guys get involved with the poll that we put out.
Quite busy today, so I mean, we're definitely gonna have longer AMA next week. We have meeting on Tuesday with tech. We're gonna definitely have more info to pass.
Oh yeah, okay.
One more, because everybody's bashful. Maybe I didn't hear it. This is Shrugs again. Did they say that there would be a timeline with rough estimates released anytime soon on the extent of these sprints, like timeline wise, when we can expect certain things?
Well, that's the thing, bud. We should have a updated roadmap, because obviously we had one in place, but then things had to change given first month of development, obviously to something we talked about in the previous AMA to help us, carry on. Tended to move on and start development. So they've had to account for that to you guys next week. That's the
that again, you guys made the right decision in my opinion on that. I just think this pairs well nicely with, if we open this up at the same time we can see if this influx or people pouring in more, that could speed up the timeline, it could speed up the roadmap, so that would be a good visual.
Absolutely, yeah, totally agree, and that's the sort of sentiment of a lot. Had feedback from, and I absolutely, I totally understand. The market's changed, the situation's changed. So a bit more to draw, more eyes, increase volatility, buys and sells. I think it's certainly worth trying. As I said, of funding the exchange as well outside of just pure volume, but I think trying this or sort of breathing room on marketing funds and development funds. So yeah, totally agree.
Whether the NFT royalty fees are going towards the marketing wallet, and yes, they are. So currently they're not used, like we don't separate them to use them for something else in the future. They're just going towards our marketing and development wallet for the sex development and also marketing campaigns and so on.
It's probably also worth mentioning. It's something that we haven't particularly advertised, but set up to help with initial marketing funds. But we do actually have a donations wallet. Obviously, you guys are free to do what you like, but I think we can perhaps link that in announcements, and anyone who is provide funds for the exchange. I think Adrian's added to the fund before in the past. I think he might. Yeah.
Me and Monty. I don't know what's going on with Monty. I haven't seen him for a while, but me and Monty were first contributors.
Monty's about. He was about in general a couple of days ago, I think.
Really? I mean, maybe I didn't catch him. Yeah.
Just yeah, I'm seeing that people are getting kicked from spaces, which is weird. I've had that before.
I think. Shit.
Yeah, I think just as he was mentioning that people get kicked out, he got kicked out.
That's typical, isn't it? But yeah, guys. Obviously, if you don't fancy joining voice chat to talk about the limitation changes, then obviously free to speak about it in general, and we're open for discussion, and we'll open up this poll as soon as possible, and development updates next week. It's just that sort of lull period between getting everything set up. But as I say, we should next week, and also some sort of development updates from Tech Alchemy as well. We've got, as I said earlier, for anyone who missed it, we've got a meet. And on the back of that, we should have a lot more information. But once things kick off, that's when I'm looking forward to this, and sharing regular updates on the progress of the development, and following it along with the roadmap that we provide as well, which should, as I say, should be available, if not next week, to the end of next week. I'll keep in touch with you guys about that. But obviously, as I said, we had to adapt the timeline to suit the changes that we'd made. The developer allocation as well. But that is all in progress, and we should have a lot more to share. The idea behind this AMA was to just involve you guys in this big decision that we're looking at implementing. Get you guys, and we'll open up a poll and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I think there are no more questions. So yeah, I think we can close it. So we're gonna meet next week at Friday, and yeah, we're gonna definitely have some more info.
Sort of close it up now. I can't. I'm just looking on. Telegram won't load for me for some reason. I'm just looking on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm checking Discord. There are no questions, so yeah.
Okay.